Did you also look at web usage on the extraction of the defendant's phone?
I did, yes.
And what did you do to look at the web usage on the phone, and what time frame did you look at?
For web usage, I expanded the time of interest to early January to the 24th of January, and just took a look at any web history over that time. There was over 1,300 records recovered. I took a cursory look down that list and highlighted some which potentially were relevant to the case, and then provided the 1,300 actual records as a appendix report.
And going to page 12 of your report, looks like you started here on January 10th, 2023, is that correct?
That's correct.
And basically here you list various searches that occurred on each day between January 10th and January 24th from the extraction, is that correct?
That's correct. Broken down by day with the time of the search, the website that was visited, the title of the web page, and then the identifier in the database.
And looking at these searches, on January 12th, 2023, at 19:48, so that would be 7:48 p.m., is that correct?
Correct.
There was a search. In the title, it says, "How quickly does Wellbutrin work for depression?" Is that the title? Is that what the user is putting into the search?
If I could see the search, please.
I'll zoom in on that.
Yes, so the top entry here we can see starts with https www.google.com/search !Q. The text after the Q, how quickly does Wellbutrin work, is what the user searched. Typically that is exactly as the user typed it, assuming that there are no auto-completions in place. In this particular case, it appears it was searched using Safari, so there's no auto-completion. That is essentially what the user typed in. And then the title, how quickly does Wellbutrin, I can't say that word, I'm afraid. Wellbutrin, thank you. Work for depression, Google search, is the title of the page which Google assigns.
So where it says after the Q, how plus, quickly plus, does plus, the user's not putting in those pluses, correct? Is that, what were you calling those?
So that's part of the attribute. It's how the data is encoded in a URL or in a web search. You can't have spaces within this address string, so they replace the spaces with the plus symbol.
So I type in how quickly does, and the computer adds the pluses in the space marks?
Yes, it's URL encoding to make it safe for the browser.
And then at 7:49, there's a search for Lamictal for depression.
Yes, and depression spelled with a B at the end instead of an N, which demonstrates that this is what the user typed in rather than a page that was being visited.
And then a few minutes later at 7:55 p.m., the user typed in Ellaville for depression, correct?
Correct.
And then on page 16, on January 18th, 2023, at 10:25, we have a search there, ketamine for suicidal ideation, is that correct?
Correct.
And again, that's the user typing that in.
Yeah, again, those words were typed in by the user.
And then on January 19th, 2023, on page 17 of your report, we have symptoms of postpartum psychosis searched on January 19th.
Correct.
Mr. Whiffen, just a couple of things. One of the takeaways or question that I had is that you were talking about, in reference to the Apple Health data, fair to say that there's an issue as to the accuracy or reliability of the Apple Health data. You've actually done research on it.
I've done research on it, yes.
Okay, and one of the things that you did is back about a year ago, June 28th of 2025, you did a blog article on Apple Health accuracy and reliability, and it talked about using a pitch, which I think is, you guys refer to like a football field or something?
It was a rugby field, but yes.
And then you had somebody put the watch in their right pocket, somebody with the left pocket, and then someone else held it in their hand, you measured it, and things of that nature, right?
Correct, it was 3 phones.
Some of the things were off a little bit, but basically you put that in your report and you were able to draw your conclusion as to the accuracy and reliability, as you say, of the Apple Health data, right?
Correct.
Now, if someone is wearing an Apple Watch, is that what records heart rate?
As the heart rate is on the watch, yes.
It is on the watch,
Yes.
okay. And the steps that the person takes, things of that nature, the movement, is that on the phone or would that be on the watch?
That's on both the watch and the phone.
Okay. Now, if you have an Apple Watch and you test it or you examine it, would you be able to determine what information was actually recorded by the watch while the person was wearing it?
Yes, the information that's recorded within the Apple Health database does specify whether the information comes from the watch, the phone, or from a different. Correct.
You don't know what was happening at 5:40, 5:45, right?
Correct.
Right up till 5:58, 6 o'clock p.m., right?
Purely the data on the device.
So it could have been, the phone could have been put down, the watch could have been put down, battery died, whatever those issues could be, and the person would still be going down the stairs, going up the stairs, going in the backyard, doing push-ups, whatever.
Correct.
You just don't know, right?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things, you're familiar with the concept of location data, right?
Correct.
And location data, one of the things you looked at or you're aware of would be from Lindsay's phone on August 23rd of 2022. Is that correct?
Apologies, August 23rd, 2022?
Yeah.
I didn't go back
Okay.
anywhere near that date.
You have tested and written blogs, though, on location information, right?
Correct.
You actually testified in the case of Commonwealth versus Victor Arrington in Suffolk Superior Court in Boston in support of the accuracy of this particular artifact or information, right?
Correct.
So you're a true believer that the phone does in fact record accurately significant locations on the iPhone, right?
It certainly can.
Page 17, if you have it, would be the Apple Note Counsel asked you about.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I suggest to you, sir, that this is the Apple Note, I believe a previous witness may have read this to the jury, so they will have this in the room to read. But basically, this is the note that says, I was the healthiest, happiest mom. I worked out every morning, meditated, took care of myself, and basically my life has turned to crap, right? 22, we can get to what you were talking about. It looks like January 24th at 8:19 in the morning. Cell phone number 781-375-8564. And what does that say?
Cutie.
And that, so just tell us, so is that Patrick's phone?
Yes, that would be the phone stored as Patrick sending a message to Lindsay's phone.
And how did Lindsay respond, or how did her phone respond?
It appears that Lindsay reacted to an image with the love emoji.
Like a little heart thing?
Yes.
And then what did Patrick say?
Patrick asked, how's it going?
What did she say?
Good.
And then did she say anything further?
Yet she also responded, okay, her urine looked good, so nothing going wrong with her kidneys, a few.
So that she indicates that her urine looked good, nothing going on with her kidneys, and then phew, like whew, something like that, right?
That's how I read this.
DHEW?
Yeah. Yes.
And then he said good, right?
Yes.
And then as you go forward, there's more pictures of the kids with the snowman, making the snowman. Patrick then says to her at 11, looks like 11:29, am I reading that right, in the morning?
11:29 12.
What does he say to her?
You're a good mama.
And does she respond?
She responds with an emoji, which is the face covered in hearts.
And earlier, defense counsel just put in some exhibits of your indexes for the data that you looked at for the phone and the computers, correct?
Correct.
And those indexes, do they contain everything that was on the phone and everything that was on each computer that could be pulled from the phone or the computer?
No, they were focused reports or focused searches. So for my reports, they were focused to essentially the internet history on those devices. The large Cellebrite report, again, I don't know who created that. I don't know what options were selected by that user, but there will be data on the device which is not covered in that report. By virtue of that's how decoding works.
Until 6 o'clock, right? You just answered that question.
Correct.
That's because the phone was either dead, off, we already went through that. She could have been walking all over the house, the yard, anywhere, right?
Yeah, the phone did not detect anything. I don't know why the phone didn't detect anything, whether it was
So your answer is you
Set
don't know
down.
what, I don't mean to be rude. Your answer is you don't know why, right?
exactly. I don't know why it wouldn't
Okay.
record.
And you did not report at all on the steps and distances, did you?
I didn't know.
Okay, thank you.
Anything on that, Como?
No.
All right, thank you, sir. You may sit down. Thank you.
Commonwealth Press.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. There are some exhibits. I'm sick. I believe they're by agreement,
Yeah, they were by agreement.
All right.
and then we would rest.
All right.
We have the Duxbury Hospital records, 2 discs. 272A, B. Mass General Institute Health Professions transcript. Is it 273? Quinnipiac transcript.
Who was that?
Quinnipiac transcript. 274. And then employment records from Mass General Hospital. 275. We rest.
All right. And with that, the call.
Finding.
All right, counsel. Thank you. Como.
Thank you, Your Honor. The case that defense counsel cited, there was a presentation of the Commonwealth's evidence. Commonwealth rested. Defense called an expert who said that the defendant was not criminally responsible, and the Commonwealth relied on a cross-examination of that witness and did not call any further witnesses. So the motion was filed for a required finding at the close of all of the evidence, which is what's required under Commonwealth versus Dawson, which Brunette Silva cites and is still good law. An SJC case, 475 Mass 806 from 2016, in which the court says that a motion for required finding of not guilty by reason of lack of criminal responsibility may only be brought at the close of all of the evidence, not at the close of the Commonwealth's case. In this case, as you're aware, defense plans on presenting experts who testified that the defendant was not criminally responsible, and then the Commonwealth will have a rebuttal case with their own experts. So I think the time and place for the motion would be at the close of all of the evidence and not now.
All right. Well, I had an opportunity to take a look at Brunette Silvera. So based on that and based on the standard as described that I have to apply at this point, I'm going to deny the defendant's motion.
I don't think I have to object, but I will.
All right. As we say, duly noted.
Yes, thank you, Judge. Your Honor, could I inquire, Emily Thorndike is here and has been here. I'm just wondering, is the government ready for us to do the voir dire to see if she can testify? Because she is self-employed, she has patients and has canceled them day after day. I'm just inquiring if we're ready to go on that.
Right, so the question I think that we had put this over was in large part because of the records from McLean's. Do we know if those are in?
I've been inquiring with Madam Clerk if there's been any status from the clerk's office, and I've told they haven't received anything. We have a call over to McLean. They've acknowledged the receipt. They were waiting for a call back from somebody at the office. They thought that the records were produced on Friday, but clearly that wasn't the case. So we have a call. We're waiting for a return call. I've provided people in my office the Madam Clerk's email address to get it expedited as quick as possible. So we are working to try to resolve the issue, and the hospital has acknowledged they received the subpoena. We just don't have a response yet. And I would just also remind that we discussed this last week and talked about doing this tomorrow on Tuesday in order to get those records and have time for everybody to get them and review them so that a proper examination of the witness can be done in a voir dire.
So,
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's do this before we start going at each other. We'll see if the records come in. All right. The records come in, then we got to determine how long it takes for people to review it and get ready. So if we can do that this afternoon,
okay.
Great.
All right.
If we can't, I'll hear from the parties as to why we can't. We may have to do it tomorrow. But if we can do that today, I do understand that witness has been here a number of days. But at this point, it's a question of the records coming in, which really is out of both parties' hands. So if the records are in, the parties can get ready. We'll do that voir dire. If not, we may have to do that tomorrow. Okay.
Medication compliant in order to manage those things, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Brayington?
So your experience dealing with patients that have birth to child, as the district attorney asked, and are on Zoloft and expressing issues of being a parent, were you aware of any incidents where Lindsay was with you and a woman did in fact express concern that she wanted to hurt herself or her child?
There was a particular patient that Lindsay was on staff when this patient arrived. It was a patient that arrived to the unit that had plans to harm herself while she was pregnant. And we had a conversation. Lindsay was brand new. It was the summer that she had just started. And we had a conversation about mental health in pregnancy and postpartum. And I asked her if she had ever heard of the Andrea Yates case, and she hadn't. And I explained that to her, and she cried. And she said, "How could a mother hurt her children?"
Thank you. All set.
Thank you.
Basis?
Yes,
And you talk on the phone, do you?
occasionally.
Directing your attention to the fall of, well, actually heading into like Thanksgiving and Christmas of 2022. Do you remember that time frame?
Yes,
And did you have occasion to see your sister during that period of time?
yes.
And let's direct our attention to, let's say, Thanksgiving 2022. Had you noticed any change in Lindsay's personality or any observation of how she appeared to you?
I will say on Thanksgiving in particular is when the first time I saw her in person after quite some time. I had known she had not been doing well via text message communication that we had. I think on Thanksgiving, she, her mood did not look good, or energy, she didn't seem very energized. It definitely seemed off from how I've seen her in the past.
And were you aware that that carried through from November into December, around the holiday season, if you had stayed in touch with her?
Yes.
And can you tell us what you observed about her around the holiday season as it related to her, from your observations and your texting and your communications with Lindsay? How did she appear to you at that point?
The beginning of December, it seemed like she very much decompensated. I do remember her saying at one point at the beginning of December, something along the lines of, I'm in a really tough spot. And knowing what she had shared with me previously about how her mental health had been struggling, I had this gut feeling that something was off and that she was really struggling, and I asked her if she was safe.
What did she say?
She said yes at that point.
And you knew her husband, Pat?
Yes.
And you knew the kids?
Yes.
Obviously. Do you recall around Christmas itself, and perhaps a little bit thereafter, that you spoke with her and that she indicated, basically, I'm not doing okay?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what you observed about her demeanor or her symptomology when you said she was decompensating around that time? What were they symptoms in your mind of?
Based on communication with Lindsay, and I started communicating with Pat directly at that time, she was reporting her mood was worsening, as she described as depression. She was having more suicidal thoughts. Insomnia continued to be an issue. She was really not feeling like herself.
And did you know that during that period of time where she was telling you about the suicidal thoughts and the issue of depression, that she was seeing doctors?
Yes.
And what did she tell you about seeing the doctors, and if she was on any medication, and if so, what effect did they have on her?
So the first thing she said about the doctors was back in October when she said that she saw a doctor for Zoloft and had a very awful reaction to that Zoloft.
Would that be Dr. Tufts?
I don't believe she shared that specific with me.
Share the name? Okay.
No. And then I think throughout our communication over the couple months of October to December, she did share with me that she was going to doctors, she was getting different prescriptions, kind of all the things that they were trying and different treatments they were looking at.
And do you recall when you were talking with her about her symptoms towards the end of December that she had, in your words, decompensated significantly and stated to you that she felt nothing and that she was scared, things of that nature?
Yes.
What else did she tell you, if you recall?
At the end of December, so I think it was more along the same of, that she is really not feeling well. Her mood is down. She's feeling numb. She's feeling hopeless. I believe at the very end of the month, she told me she had had suicidal ideation every day for a month.
Do you recall towards the end of the month around New Year's that she voluntarily admitted herself somewhere?
Yes.
Do you know where she admitted herself?
McLean Hospital.
And while she was at McLean Hospital, ultimately, do you know how she got out of McLean Hospital?
It was my understanding that she was weaning off of some medication that she was on, and then was eventually discharged 5 days later.
Now, did you see her or talk to her after she left McLean Hospital trying to wean herself off of whatever medication it was? Because you don't know what the medication was, right?
I believe it was Seroquel.
Seroquel.
Yep.
Did she tell you anything to the effect that when she got out of the hospital that she felt as though this was a step in the right direction? Did she seem as though she was trying to be positive about her life?
Yes.
And tell us about that, because up until this point you had observed her decompensating and having these symptoms and suicidal ideation and depression and feeling nothing and scary. When she got out of McLean, what did she appear to you and what did she say to you?
I believe she said she felt that was a good plan and that she was.
You are a licensed social worker, correct?
Correct.
And you're a mandated reporter, correct?
Yes.
And at any point in time between January 1st, 2023 and January 24th, 2023, did you have enough concern about the safety of the kids or the safety of your sister to file a report as a mandated reporter?
No.
Thank you.
Mr. Ray?
Go ahead, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me step down.
With this board and ask if this is a copy of the text that you're referring to.
Yes, it is.
Would you read that for the jury?
Mom, will you please come up and stay with me for a bit? I'm really sick. Something is wrong. I had horrible insomnia all night, and I just don't know how I'm going to get through the day. I started taking the medicine my doctor prescribed for anxiety, and I think it's made things worse.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Trudy Sprague?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Now, you testified in direct examination about the statements that Lindsay made in December about having thoughts about harming the children. When in December was that?
I don't exactly remember. I would say early to mid December, probably early, maybe earlier rather than mid-December, but I don't exactly remember when.
Okay. And when she made the statement that she had thoughts of harming the children, did either you or Patrick ask her what she meant by that?
I believe I remember Pat asking her if she felt like she couldn't be alone with the children, and she said no.
And after she made those statements, did you have any thoughts about committing her?
No.
Did you have any thoughts about having her come stay with you in Connecticut away from the children?
No.
Were you concerned for the children's safety at that point in time? And she responded, pretty good, yeah, not perfect, but enough. And you said, are you feeling any better during the day? And she said, so far, a little bit. They said a week off the Seroquel should make more of a difference, so a couple more days till that, but I do think it's helping. You and your husband left, is that correct?
Yes.
And on the way home, you texted on January 22nd, 2023 at 7:55 p.m., enjoyed seeing everyone this weekend. Nice to see you doing better. Is that correct?
If that's what that says, yes, that's correct. I don't exactly remember the text, but yes, if that's what it says, yes.
So from your text, not saying she was doing great, but she was doing better than she was, according to your text, or appeared to be.
The text from me was meant to encourage her because I didn't think it did any good to discourage her. So the text was meant not necessarily what I actually observed that weekend, but it was meant to encourage her because I was encouraging her to do things with the kids to kind of try to get back to normal. So it's...
That's correct?
That's correct without my observation of her.
And what she was responding to you in text, correct?
Correct.
You also spoke to the police on January 25th, 2023. Do you remember that?
I do.
Do you remember telling the police that Lindsay seemed to be improving since leaving McLean?
I do not recall. I remember speaking to the police. I had just found out what had happened, and I was pretty much in shock. So anything I remember, honestly, I remember two things I told the police. Anything else that you have there, I must have said, but I don't recall them. I've been going through my mind. I can honestly recall two things I told the police during that interview. I was pretty much in shock.
Okay, so do you remember telling them that she seemed brighter lately?
I don't recall.
All right. Members of the jury, I told you it was going to be stop and start, right? So we're going to stop now, but we're going to stop now for the day for you. I'm going to come back. I'm going to talk to counsel about setting some things up logistically for tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow the plan would be, hopefully we'll start right at 9 or right as close as we can. And we'd hope to have a pretty full day in regards to the witnesses. All right, so I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow at 9. I'm going to remind you, don't talk about this case. Don't read anything about it or anything about any similar cases. Don't do any research. Don't listen to anything. Don't post anything. You kind of know where I'm going, right? So I'm going to ask you to follow those instructions again. I'm going to give you those questions, and I hope you have a nice evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning, okay? Thank you.
All rise, please, for your executive. This closing session. Please seated.
Hey, Counsel, I see you sidebar just really in regards to tomorrow, not very long.